the human trafficking is like 2 counts. He's got 2 terabytes of video with thousands of people in these videos. God knows what is in these videos. And just 2 counts of the human trafficking. The minimum with the feds, there's a mandatory minimum. Diddy, that's 15 years with that alone. But the way that